What's up, y'all? It's popping, was cracking. It's D. About to react to this video by Albert and Preach titled Wife of the Year, Betrayal Worse Than Cheating. So they put this up a while ago, but somebody told me I missed it and I gotta check it out. I gotta see what it's like. So, sure. Let's see what's worse than cheating.
And he goes, tell them the truth. Don't walk out that door. My husband's voice was surprisingly calm. I followed them out the door. I was almost in the car with them. I don't even mean this as a gender thing. You just like, you gotta be some level of coward to not defend your husband.
No, not saying anything. I can understand the shock. You walked out!
So, this is a story of how a lady didn't defend her husband when it mattered. And she's asking, is the relationship over?
Okay.
I'm gonna skip through it because it's a long post, but I'm gonna give you guys the most important parts that matter.
Please.
I met my husband when I was 20 at the gym. I was trying to lose some weight. He eventually noticed that I was sticking to my New Year's resolution. 2 months later, we were dating. I learned that he was from Indiana and he had stationed there in Texas for just over 2 years at that point. Eventually, he met my family. My parents liked him. My siblings liked him. And so all in all, my family loved him. I had set up a surprise for his birthday, his actual birthday. Nothing extravagant, but his 2 roommates were immediately on board and told him they were going on a couple trips for the weekend. My family wanted to come to be there for a surprise and cake before heading home, and a handful of other friends. Everything was in place for the plan, was that I would hide behind the door and jump on his back and cover his eyes when the lights would come on. So I heard his truck pull into the drive. Everyone hid. It was almost pitch black in the house. He opens the door and shuts it and takes a few steps in, and I jump on his back. Everything happened so fast. I immediately flipped over, slammed into the ground. The lights came on. I felt sharp, intense pain in my shoulder, and my ears were ringing.
Yeah.
Why would you startle him?
That sounds accurate.
He was horrified at what happened, and my brother and my dad started yelling at him. He was trying to help, and my mother and his roommate had to get between him and my father.
How y'all get mad at him?
He just kept apologizing to me, so we spent the birthday in the ER. I had a separated shoulder, a broken collarbone. See, that's why a lot of us don't like surprises. Some of y'all don't realize who's getting surprised.
You're clouded by the fairy tales that you got in your head about how.
And you don't know what demons niggas is fighting.
And it's gonna be so nice.
What if he, had something happen to him, so he's like on edge all the time, So you did something and then bow. You're lucky he didn't.
But basically, you're jumping on the motherfucker. You're jumping on someone.
It's an attack.
What's the surprise? You scaring him? And then what happened?
Then he realized he's surrounded.
He got scared?
Yeah. Well, a scare is fine. I guess they were hoping you'd be like, I think it's all the people.
I don't think you see the best of human beings when they're scared. A lot of things can happen if you're scared. I can jump you, I can run, I can shit and piss myself.
Here's an example. So we spent the birthday in the ER. I had a separated shoulder and a broken collarbone. I was initially furious at him for doing that and didn't want him around me, so he sat in the waiting room. By then, my brother and father had calmed down and realized for what it was. What was he supposed to think, walking into the house, believing it to be empty, and get jumped from behind? Eventually, I agreed, let him come back, and he immediately started to cry and tell me how sorry he was. He would never do it again.
Never do what?
He didn't do it.
Well, I mean, you love somebody, you hurt them, you see them in pain. Yes. You're gonna say you don't want to do that. That's not.
I'm not saying.
As long as she don't surprise me.
Saying sorry. It's just the phrase, "I'm never gonna do it again." How about you don't scare me and I never do it again? Of course, I understand that it was not my intention, but the "I'm never doing it again" part is weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not weird that I think that.
But I think it's what people say.
I understand.
So it's what people say. But I don't know this abnormal thing. You hurt your wife.
I guess
probably if she's in the ER. Not gonna be like, don't ever scare me again.
No, I'm not gonna say never scare me again. I'm just like, yeah, sorry.
I'm thinking he's just assuming that she won't do it again, so he'll never have to hurt her again.
If she's in pain in the ER, I probably wouldn't say.
I'm not gonna say, bitch. Serve you well. I'm not gonna. Honestly,
I hope not. Look at this. Sometimes people read these stories with so little emotion. I'm like, are you guys?
I'm not gonna be. No, that's not even what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is a fuck up. But I hear with a dislocated. Hey.
I bet you're never gonna do that shit again. Yeah.
Equal lefts, equal rights.
I never said that.
He struggled more than I did to put this behind us, but I get it. I kept up with my schoolwork, and we continued to grow closer.
And you cheated.
Eventually, he asked me to marry him, and it was a no-brainer. It was hard for him to say goodbye to the Air Force, but he wanted to settle down. We had a move between our wedding when he finally left the service. By then, I was working, had a very large amount saved up. As we waited of where the FAA wanted him to go, we stayed with my brother and his wife in my hometown. He knew how much I missed my hometown, so we decided to buy a house and we would commute almost an hour and a half each way. It is a huge sacrifice on his part. So he's gonna, I guess he wanted to be close to her hometown. He moved there, and he's willing to commute to work about an hour and a half away for her. Okay.
All right.
2020 happened. I lost my job, but my husband made more than enough to cover lost wages. We weren't getting any younger and decided to start a family. It took a bit, but eventually I got pregnant. We had a wonderful 2-year-old son, which...
Well, we ain't getting any younger. Might as well pop out some kids.
My husband struggled more than I did, but I helped him. If you've kept up with the news, the FAA, which I think that's for the people who attend to flights, so those are the people who manage the airspace and basically flight towers. The FAA is short-staffed with not enough controllers, so my husband works mandatory overtime, and usually most shifts are 10 hours. Each Wednesday he gets off work at 11 and has to be back at work by 8 a.m. That's a very short turnaround that will leave him most 5 hours of sleep if he drove home. So on those nights he sleeps at a coworker's house. He has offered to make the drive, but I don't want him driving tired or working tired either. Honestly, it did suck on those nights when he wasn't home and our son just wouldn't sleep. He encouraged me to reconnect with old friends I have, which leaves us with the reason for this post. I do most of the housework, but my husband has always helped me when he is home. She eventually led to me telling them that my husband stays near his work on Wednesdays, and some of the nights were rough on me, especially early on. That got me a lot of sympathy, and I don't know why it felt good to hear someone that wasn't family say those things. I kept my mouth shut. And when they said my husband should just suck it up and take care of his kid, and that their husbands commute 2 hours to work each way, I wanted to say, well, your husbands have the same hours every day and aren't responsible for other lives. Instead, I just nodded in agreement. It makes me sick that I did that. My husband woke up as much as I did and still does when our son needs him. Last week, my husband had a very rare Saturday and Sunday off. We wanted to have some people over for dinner and invited my older brother, sister, in-laws, as well as 2 of my friends from the previous week and their husbands. So, going back to getting slammed by my husband, he mentioned that he hates that story, that even if it wasn't intentional, he seriously injured me, so I stopped telling that story out of respect for him. Friday rolls around, the dinner starts, everything's going well. That's when my sister-in-law asks me to tell the story of how I broke my collarbone and separated my shoulder.
Why? She a hater.
I figured since my husband was out of the room, no harm, no foul. Tell the story and I'm laughing. My sister-in-law is laughing, and Sarah and her husband seem amused. Lana and her husband aren't laughing. Lana reaches across the table and grabs my hand and says, I saw your knee and how bruised it is. My sister-in-law snorts at Lana and continues, you said he doesn't help you with your son, and now he has you believing that he did that to your shoulder was some kind of accident.
Whoa.
My husband walks in and asks what we were talking about, and Lana tells him that she knows that he's a me.
What the
That he doesn't help with our son, and that he obviously shoved me down and bruised my knee. That I should have left him when he broke my shoulder. My husband immediately looks at me and asks, what the hell did you tell her? That's when Lana's husband speaks up and tells my husband to lower his voice because he won't tolerate verbal abuse, and that if you lay a finger on her, I will beat your ass. She goes on to say, I'm too shocked to speak up and stick up for my husband. My husband didn't take kindly to that and told him to get the fuck out of her house. Brother hears the confrontation as Lana and Sarah's husband stand between my husband and I. My husband tells him again, don't make me repeat myself. I'm not going to tolerate being called a wife beater. Get the hell out. My brother tries to explain that my husband doesn't hit me, and I just turtle like a coward. I remember my husband looking at me as if he was pleading with me to speak up for him, but I just sat there unable to do anything.
Girl, that would make people think that he is beating your ass, girl. That's what I would think. Like, oh, look, she quiet. She ain't saying nothing. This must be true.
Why? I've never been in a situation like this before. Lana and her husband start telling me I need to leave with them so my husband doesn't hurt me. My husband flips his shit at that, and my brother-in-law had to almost tackle him. And he goes, tell them the truth. Don't walk out that door. My husband's voice was surprisingly calm. I followed them out the door.
What?
I was almost in the car with them.
Okay,
But then she pulled me back, and my brother forced Lana and her husband to finally leave. I get back inside and just started crying. I look at my husband, and the love in his eyes was gone. He looked like a stranger to me. I tried to hug him, and he pulled away and said he needed some space. I remember telling him that perhaps he could stay with my brother. I was insulted in her home. You stood by and let our friends by, and you didn't say a word. You walked out the door with them. You chose them over me. If anyone needs to leave, it's you. I'm not saying you have to leave, but I'm not leaving our house tonight. I need some time and space to think about how to move forward. This girl did something foul, and she suggested he leaves with the brother.
That's crazy.
I'll just finish the story. My brother agreed with my husband, and I left with them. My brother didn't say a word as we rode to his house. I couldn't stop crying, wondering why I let them in my husband and our marriage like that. When we got home, my brother just went off on me, asking me questions I had asked myself. That my husband never did the things that those friends accused him of. I didn't sleep that night. Every night, every call and text went unanswered. I told my parents what happened. They reached in a calmer manner, but aren't happy with me right now. My family's supportive, but firmly on my husband's side. Honestly, I don't blame them. I have no excuse for not defending him and trying to de-escalate the situation. My husband wants space, and I'm trying to give him that, but I miss being near him. He has stopped by every day to see her son, but he has been avoiding talking to me. I got a call from him today saying he's deeply hurt and feels betrayed, that he isn't sure if he can trust me again. He still loves me, but he needs to sort things out on his end, but he was considering separation. I told Lana and Sarah to fuck off and never contact me again, but I'm so hurt and angry, very angry at myself. I want my husband back, but I'm not sure if that's possible. I need some advice, please. I want things to be back to normal. I want to picked up and slung over his shoulder as he grabs my butt. I want him to kiss my stretch marks and tell me that he loves me even more for them. What do I do? How can I save my marriage? I'm not gonna lie, I believe this whole story to those last couple nights. Those last couple lines look like some creative liberty in someone's fantasy. But anyways, we're all operating under this being true. It's a very popular post. It was pretty long. Is it real? I say like 60% chance it's real, 40% chance it's fake. But it's a good story.
Let's operate on the basis that it's real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something that probably is gonna be unpopular.
I don't think it's gonna be unpopular.
No, I think it's gonna be unpopular. I'd rather my girl cheat on me than live that. Told you it was unpopular. Living that and having all...
No, I think most people would agree with you.
Having all those things, me being accused of all those things, and I turn around and I'm like... Because at this point, I can't fight. I can't prove anything. The only thing I got is her. And she leaves out the door with them.
Without saying a word.
Without saying jack. At that point, you are saying that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
You are 100%
it's loud.
saying that what they're right.
Back up.
Because you are leaving. I'd rather my girl cheat on me. And not find out.
That is something Ashley. I'm just talking shit.
I think most people they'll have their partner kiss them. That's the key. And I think most guys in time will 1,000% agree. Because if she cheat on you, she just hurts you. But if she accuses you, she doesn't just hurt you, she ruined your reputation. She destroyed your marriage, it's irreparable, and she made everyone think that you beat her, which is a stain on your reputation forever.
And it's a level to this shit. It's like, I told you not to tell that story.
Yeah.
You tell that story.
Totally.
God damn, I was right there. Maybe not in the room, but I was right there.
This face is a face that all men would make inside if you did that shit to them.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the only way I could ever look at you again, bitch. Maybe not on the outside, but on the inside, though.
That's crazy. To be honest with you, man.
You Jezebel.
I don't even know I don't know how you can save this one. I don't know how you can save this one.
Absolutely.
I don't even know if it's possible to redeem yourself. And that's only for him to make the decision. There's nothing you can do. You can only come forward and be like, you know what? I ex them. I'm not. Even if you ex them and you're like, I'm not talking to them no more, and this and that, whatever, and the third. What the fuck did you say in the first place? For her to think that, and then to report that to her husband, and then the husband wants to beat my ass. So now I'm walking in the street, I'm not even, even the fact that you're not talking, what are you doing talking to what are you saying to these people when I'm not around?
Hey, listen.
And I'm trying to pay the bills, and I'm trying to work hard, and this and that and the third, and I'm the one who's like, hey, you feel I'm not there? Yeah, reconnect with your friends.
The
betrayal.
You went through hell and high water to make sure your life was good, and you did that.
I don't even know if it's possible.
But Priest brings up a good point. You've been saying other things to those ladies that you didn't write in this little paragraph of yours. Because the way she was probably think that she was beating off of one little thing about him not being around with your family, yeah. You said a whole lot more than that. Also, I don't even mean this as a gender thing. You just a bitch. Like, you gotta be some level of coward to not defend your husband.
No, not saying anything I can understand the shock. You walked out!
Wait. You gotta be some level to not defend your husband when he's accused of something so heinous that revolves around you.
That
you know he didn't do. You gotta be super weird to be a coward in that moment and be so afraid of confrontation, you won't speak up for your husband. But then the thing is this, people make mistakes. How they recover from them matters. You made that initial mistake. They tell you to come out the door. And for some reason, the only action you take in all of this is to walk with them. So you'll follow their instructions to walk out the door and leave your hound and leave your child. But you won't follow your husband's instructions to defend him. The easiest thing you could do, which doesn't require leaving your kid. No, there's a lot of things missing out of this story. I think there's a lot of feelings about your husband that you haven't resolved, that you're not willing to admit to because I think they're darker than you'd like to admit.
Or you a bitch.
There's no level of business that does that. I think you have to look at your husband a certain type of way to walk out that door.
I don't know about that.
I could say quiet innocence is one thing. To walk out with somebody else on your husband take something else that's going on in your head.
I don't know about that.
I believe that.
I don't. But
yeah,
that's
weird.
At this point, it's not important.
It's such a crazy thing to...
It's just crazy. It is.
So do you think people can walk out on their child without thinking something crazy about them?
And on the moment...
So I can grab a mom from her child, and she gonna leave her kid there.
I'm not saying it's like most people would do it, but yeah, I believe that there's a couple of people that would do that, but it doesn't matter. All this doesn't matter. This argument, right, it does not matter. There's so many shit that is wrong that I don't even know how you could solve that. Because I and I as a man cannot even understand. That's the ultimate... Nah, I don't...
No.
I don't even have the words.
I just think there's more going on, so I can't say nothing or offer anything.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Like, what? I don't know about them saying that that's worse than cheating. Well, that's a whole nother, topic, a whole nother conversation. Actually, I would say that is worse. I mean, they're both horrible, but... This is like, damn, you don't even care enough about me to stick up for me, to defend me against something that you know is false. So you got me looking crazy in front of all these people, and they accuse me of doing this horrible thing, and they're like, come with us to get away from this abuser, and you walk out with them to basically agree, like, yes, he is an abuser. Okay, I'll come with you guys. I need to be saved. Nah, that is wild. If I was him, I don't know if I would be able to get over that, to be honest. But does that, call for divorce? That's kind of extreme to divorce someone over, but I feel like it would just take a lot of work to gain my trust back if I was him. Because, yeah, that's crazy. Like, what the hell? I don't know, though. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!